right. Afternoon, everyone. Storm Team Meteorologist Griffin here in the CBS 42 Storm Team Weather Center in Birmingham, Alabama. How's everybody doing this weekend? Hope you all are enjoying yourselves. Hope you all are staying safe and that you're staying healthy. It's a very active tropical season. You probably don't need me to tell you that, but we're going to talk about it anyway. What I'm going to try to do is pull this up on my phone because I sometimes have a hard time reading the comments as they come through live. Let me mute this so it doesn't echo. All right, so I'm going to be paying attention for comments. Sometimes Facebook is weird in that, like I said, I can't see comments sometimes I can't see them on the computer as I'm doing it live, which is a little bit irritating, but hopefully this works, where if people comment, I'll be able to see it on my phone, but if not, I'll get to them once the video is over. I'll try to answer as many questions as I can. Anyways, okay, so we're talking about Tropical Storm Sally. It is this storm that's out there in the eastern Gulf of Mexico right now, the big mess of convection that you see there just to the west of Tampa. That is Sally, and that is the 19th named storm? 19th. I'm pretty sure it's the 19th because we have Tropical Depression 20, which doesn't have a name yet. I'll double check that once the video is over. Anywho, okay. So let's talk about the hurricane watches and warnings. Here's the map of the current hurricane warning. It goes south to the mouth of the Mississippi River. So as opposed to what Hurricane Laura did, where it impacted southwest Louisiana, this is going to be southeast Louisiana. They've just been hit so hard recently, and they're about to get hit with another one, unfortunately, with the storm that's about to come in. So the hurricane warning is in effect for downtown New Orleans, Lake Pontchartrain, Lake Borgne, Slidell, and over into Mississippi. Basically, the hurricane warning cuts off right there at Baton Rouge because it doesn't look like the storm's going to go that much farther west. I'll show you the official track in a second, but starting with the hurricane warnings, that's what we have right now. And then farther east, we have a hurricane watch. So the hurricane warning means that hurricane force winds are likely within 48 hours. The hurricane watch just means it's possible. So we've got Pascagoula, Mississippi that's in the watch, and then all of the Alabama Gulf Coast is in the watch as well. That means that far away from the storm center, it's unlikely that we see hurricane force wind gusts, but it's certainly possible before the storm makes landfall that some of those stronger winds could make it that far east. So they've got a hurricane watch. And then you go even farther out into the panhandle of Florida, and it's tropical storm warnings towards Pensacola, towards Destin, Panama City, Mexico Beach, all those areas that were hit by Hurricane Michael 2 years ago. Those areas that were impacted the heaviest, they're just under a tropical storm warning for Sally that's coming in soon. Okay, so here's the official forecast track. This is as of 4 p.m. Central Time this Sunday. Has the storm, if anything, the track compared to yesterday has shifted a little bit farther to the west. It looks like it's still kind of wanting to continue that track west for a little bit longer than previously anticipated yesterday. So yesterday it had the storm kind of curving past New Orleans, going up into the Mississippi Gulf Coast, but now it looks like it'll be kind of more towards the mouth of the Mississippi River. The intensity is still, the peak intensity is still pegged at a Category 1. We'll go with that. I don't think it'll really have enough time out over open waters to become anything much stronger than a Category 1 hurricane. But you notice there that the official track has the storm center going right through downtown New Orleans, which would definitely not be good. And the other thing I want to note is that after the storm makes landfall, it's going to be slowing down a lot. This will be a really slow-moving storm, and that means that it's not necessarily the winds that are going to be the biggest problem. It's the water, it's the rain, the storm surge that'll be the bigger problems. I'll show you the rainfall forecast in just a sec, too. But again, because it'll be a slow-moving storm, rainfall will be a much bigger problem than the winds themselves. And we've moved forward in time to Wednesday. By Wednesday, it's weakened to a tropical depression because it's moved onto land, so it loses that heat source it needs from the ocean. But Still a tropical depression moving through southeast Mississippi during the day on Wednesday. Then it keeps going up into central Alabama. So this will definitely be impacting us with some of that excessive rainfall. Now, it's not going to be as extreme as what they see on the coast, but even this far inland, we're going to get some pretty significant impacts. I'm thinking we'll probably get 4 to 6 inches of rain in total area-wide across much of our viewing area, and that's certainly enough to cause some flooding in low-lying areas. Areas that see rain repeatedly over and over with these waves of tropical bands that come with any landfalling storm, we're certainly going to be in that risk for some flooding going into Wednesday and Thursday. Here's what roughly it should look like. This is our in-house computer model showing the storm approaching the mouth of the Mississippi River Monday night, but watch this. We move forward in time about 12 hours and it hardly moves. So all of those places that are in the really low-lying areas of the bayous in southeast Louisiana, they're just going to get rain, really just torrential rain steadily for about 12 hours. And that's going to be certainly the biggest problem with this storm. And there you see it there. Tuesday night still hasn't moved much, but it's getting a little bit closer to downtown New Orleans. And this is pretty much in line with what the National Hurricane Center is forecasting. It's basically going to pass right over downtown New Orleans, and that's certainly not going to be good at all. And it continues moving inland. By Wednesday morning, it's still just kind of sitting there. So you notice how all of the places that are on the right-hand side of that storm center, the winds are coming onshore, and that's what's also going to exacerbate the storm surge. I'll show you that in just a second as well. But places, along the Mississippi Gulf Coast, the Alabama Gulf Coast, the surge will probably be really high because the winds are coming onshore, and the rainfall is just going to be steady over, 24-hour period as well. So this forecast model doesn't go out far enough in time to show it going up into central Alabama, but that's also still a pretty safe bet that it will do so. So this takes a second, but I want to show you this. This is a map of the storm surge forecast. This is an official product from the National Hurricane Center that we can integrate into our graphics. And as of right now, it looks like all of those places that are along near Mobile Bay will likely see, it advanced on me, sorry about that, hold on a second. All those places that are near Mobile Bay will get something on the order of 3 to 6 feet of storm surge in total. That is possible. That's a lot. If you're immediately along the coast, you definitely want to probably move farther inland. If you're along the Gulf Coast, especially towards Dauphin Island, towards Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, not a bad idea to just if you can help it, I would move farther inland a little bit. Obviously, the impacts get a little bit more extreme towards the storm center. So as you move towards Pascagoula, Biloxi, all along Highway 90 and I-10, the storm surge amounts will most likely get a little bit higher. So in the order of 6 to 9 feet near places like Pascagoula, Biloxi, Gulfport, and over towards Bay St. Louis, it gets really high. And over towards Lake Pontchartrain, it gets really high as well, up to 9 feet of surge possible, all along the southern areas of New Orleans as well. So storm surge certainly has the potential to be a pretty big problem with this storm too. So something you should definitely be aware of if you know folks that are in the New Orleans metro area, if they're in Slidell, Hammond, Picayune, any of those places in far south Mississippi. Towards the Space Center, many of you may know that is where NASA has their rocket testing facility. I think it's not Stennis. It may be Stennis, actually. I don't remember the exact name of it, but they do have that NASA testing facility down there. Anybody who lives in that general area, give them a heads up that this could be, while it's not necessarily going to be the strongest storm by category, it doesn't mean the Saffir-Simpson scale can only take you so far. I mean, it doesn't really do the flooding impacts justice, obviously, because every storm is unique. But storm surge and excessive rainfall certainly to be the bigger problems with this storm. Also, the rainfall forecast looks pretty high because it'll be a slow-moving storm. So that swath that you see there between New Orleans and Mobile, that could be anywhere from 6 to 12 inches of rain in total, all in the boot heel of Mississippi and going up into the Pine Belt, up towards Hattiesburg, all up and down I-59. That's where that swath of heaviest and most rainfall will be. And that goes up into Alabama as well. So this is not an exact, I mean, we're still pretty far out, so take this with a grain of salt. The exact numbers will probably fluctuate a little bit since we're so far out in time, but I'm still thinking we'll be on the order of around 4 to 6 inches in total possible here in central Alabama. So that includes Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Alabaster. All of us are under the gun for some flooding potentially. Now, obviously, the winds aren't really going to be a big problem. I mean, it'll be a depression when it passes through. So we'll get maybe 25, 35 mile per hour winds. But excessive rainfall on the order of 6 inches, that's certainly something you don't want to take lightly. So keep that in mind as you make your plans this week. It's mostly going to be on Wednesday and Thursday when most of those tropical downpours will arrive. And obviously with any landfalling tropical cyclone, you have the potential for tornadoes to develop. And we'll be keeping an eye on that as well. That's obviously something we'll have to kind of fine tune. One aspect of the forecast we'll have to fine tune as we get closer. So here are the main takeaways. Sally, yep, it's probably going to become a hurricane, but I wouldn't focus too much on the category. It's not necessarily that relevant with this storm because the winds aren't going to be the biggest problem. It's the excessive rainfall and the storm surge that'll be the big one. And the fact that it slows down is going to exacerbate that. The fact that it's probably going to slow down to, a forward motion of maybe 3 or 4 miles per hour during the day Tuesday, that's really going to help to pile up those rainfall totals in southeast Louisiana and along the Mississippi Gulf Coast. So excessive flooding likely there as well, and that torrential rain moves up into our neck of the woods starting Wednesday and Thursday. So we'll be keeping a close eye on that for sure. Looks like my phone is deciding to not show comments today. I don't know why it has that problem, but I'll do my best to scroll through the comment section. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop a line in the comment section. I'll try to get to as many questions as I can and answer as many questions as possible. Other than that, be sure to stay tuned to the forecast tonight. I'll be on at 5:45 with Maine weather on the CBS 42 News at 5:30. So tune in for that. I'll be on again at 10 tonight. And above all else, just stay tuned to the forecast. Pay attention to the forecast because it'll probably have to be updated and tweaked as Sally gets closer. And also download our app because we have geo-targeted weather alerts on our app, so you can program it to notify you whenever there's alerts in your particular town. If you're in Tuscaloosa, for example, you can set it to only get alerts for Tuscaloosa. Flash flood warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings, we've got them all, so be sure to download our app as well. That's it for now. We'll probably have another update coming up soon. And, again, I'll have it on the news, and I'll have it at most likely a Facebook Live later tonight as well. Otherwise, take care, everybody. Have a great weekend.